Hey there, guys. We are here for our round one of our triple Journey into Nyx black-white draft here. So we are going to be on the draw, and our opponent mulligans to 6, which is great for us because we do have a turn 1 and turn 2 play. We are not going to mulligan. No reason to. And we'll see if our opponent mulligans to 5. However, this hand is just absolutely nuts for us. If we're able to hit some more lands, we can ideally play our Dictate of Heliod and our Supply Line Cranes. However, if we draw into some non-creature spells, we can ideally trigger off Heroic for our Laguna Band Trailblazer and Bloodcrazed Hoplite. That is, unless those spells would be redundant, like giving them indestructible just to give them a heroic counter. We don't really need to do that. But we'll see just what our opponent does here. And hopefully they react soon so we can get through this round quickly. But if you guys didn't check out the drafting portion, you can find a link in the description of this video. And it will take you to a playlist where I have all the sections of this entire draft available. You guys can check that out. You can check out the future rounds as well as the drafting portion where I try to go as extensively as possible through my decision making and ultimately what's going on whenever I'm making certain distinctions with picks and what I would prefer to pick over another card, and pretty much just what's going on in my mind. And right now, I'm not entirely sure what my opponent's doing. Maybe he's thinking very hard. Maybe he's not there. Maybe this will be a round where we just get to sit here for 10 minutes. I will just get to talk about random things, and it looks like it's not going to be that. So, we actually have to play. So our opponent decides to keep 6. We're essentially 5 because he's going to play a land. So he has 5 other cards in his hand. Maybe we can hope that they're bad. We are going to play 2 cards out of our hand, which puts us to 6. An Underworld Coinsmith, that is just great. That is a great card to have early out there. Especially if we can't do anything else with our mana, we might as well use our Coinsmith. Oh, there we go. We actually do have relevant things. So Coinsmith, no point in swinging with Trailblazer. There's nothing really, I want to say that there's no recourse to it. Like there's no recourse to swinging with it where like I would get punished by a haste creature or something like that, or excoriate or something like that, but it's just silly. There's no real reason to. Grim Guardian? No, Nightmare Shend. Okay. I'd rather you waste it on that than a different card. And then we get to play Eagle of Watch, which I'm just okay with. Eagle of Watch over Grim Guardian. Maybe we can just get a few hits in, and we can hope that our opponent isn't playing flying creatures in green, black. There aren't flying creatures. The best is probably Basara Tower Archer, where he can have reach for it. And we had our 4th land drop. 5th land drop would be awesome right now, just because it makes the Trailblazer very relevant. But right now, I think we just lead with Grim Guardian. We don't really have a way to enable our Bloodcrazed Hoplite, so there isn't a real huge rush to play him immediately. And if we do hit a land drop, we are going to be able to play our Dictate and trigger off Grim Guardian. So even though he may be a slower play, and Feast of Dreams, okay. So now we know who is picking up the removal that we passed up. So Nightmare Shend and Feast of Dreams. 5 mana open though. It's very interesting. And we have our own Feast of Dreams. So we can play our Bloodcrazed Hoplite now. And just whittle away at our opponent's life. Nothing. Wow. And Humbler Immortals. This is where our feast does the trick for us. Alright, so we do know that he's playing enchantment creatures, so Armament of Nyx is probably not going to be relevant. This is just so great. I think I'm going to lead with Supply Line Cranes. Just to get another creature out there, and then, based on what my opponent does, we can go for the Dictate. If I diversify and put it on Laguna Bay and Trailblazer, then the Trailblazer gets to attack this turn. And why don't we just go and do that? Because next turn it'll be a 3-power creature. And if nothing else, the Eagle of Watch and Supply Line Crane will be able to attack the following turn for 8 total. And if my opponent overcommit, or well, not necessarily overcommits, but commits all of his mana to playing one creature, then we can just go and no, or nothing. Alright, well, just swing and don't show him a Johnny's Presence, don't show him Dictate, show him a Johnny's Presence. If there's one card that I would like to reveal to my opponent, it's probably the Presence over Dictate. And he's probably going to have a removal spell, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see where the removal spell lies, then we'll respond accordingly. Silence. Huh. Alright, so that exiles. Well, we might as well cast the Presence and trigger off Heroic. That's fairly good. Wow, good for you. His deck seems quite slow, though. It doesn't seem like he had anything. Maybe he was the one picking up the hints, though, and maybe he unfortunately just didn't draw any creatures or anything. I don't know. We still get him for 7, so we previously calculated our math as 7, and we still swing for 7, even though our opponent cast Silence the Believers. What is this? Another? Yeah, Humbler. Okay. However, I still win. At least I'd like to think that I do. Maybe he has lifelink. He could give lifelink and stall us for a turn. It's extremely possible. Yep, or we just win. Okay. Alright, so Oppressive Raise, Deicide. Deicide is extremely good in this matchup. Armament of Nyx, pretty awful. He is playing enchantment creatures. It's going to do us no good. Mortal Obstinacy is probably a little bit more relevant for us. The Johnny's Presence really isn't going to do anything. He showed us Nightmarish End, which a Johnny's Presence does not stop. He also showed us Feast of Dreams, which a Johnny's Presence does stop. However, the cards that we're usually using a Johnny's Presence on are not enchantments to begin with, and we don't really have any bestow anyway. So the best that his Feast of Dreams is going to hit is Grim Guardian, or Underworld Coinsmith, which I'm actually pretty okay with that. So I'm not really worried about his that card of his. However, I'm not sure if we cut the Johnny's Presence just for the Mortal Obstinacy. I think maybe we cut the Cruel Feeding for the Mortal Obstinacy, just because it doesn't seem like our opponent's playing very, very swift. He's not playing very aggressively, so we can just probably get away with not playing the Cruel Feeding to play a card that, like, if we have Eagle of the Watch and we swing, have Mortal Obstinacy, we can get rid of a Humbler. Oppressive Raise may be alright. However, I think we're just okay. The Deicide was something that I wanted to get in there. So Aspect of Gorgon. Let's look at Caverna Mana Cost. Presence, Deicide, Phalanx Formation, Aspect. Yeah, I think we'll take one of the aspects for the Deicide. And Deicide is just so amazing right now. This is pretty alright. Even though I don't like keeping a 4-land hand like this, I still don't actually mind it. Not gonna mulligan this. We'll F6 and pass priority because he did say he's going first. One thing to be careful of is situations where your opponent... now we have double white, which is great. A lot of lands. I don't like having this many lands in my hand at the start, but I think we'll be okay. And Hind? No, Bloodcrazed Hoplite. Oh, okay. Huh. Alright, well, we have our Feast. So now it's going to be a race. He could play Nightmarish End right now to get rid of our Bloodcrazed Hoplite and connect for 2. Or Oakheart Dryads. Alright. I don't think that it's worth... No, it's not worth trading because we can Feast of Dreams to Oakheart. And still keep 1 white open. And we'll swing for 2. It's much less impressive than his swing for 3. However, we do still connect and deal some damage. Is there really a reason to get rid of the Oakheart Dryad's main 1? Yes, for connecting for 2 damage. Otherwise, probably not. Like, if I was in the position where I wanted to swing with the Bloodcrazed Hoplite, like, if I wanted to save it to be able to Johnny's Presence and use it as a blocker, I would have saved the Feast of Dreams for my opponent's turn to be able to respond. But right now, I don't think that I really care. Like, right now, like, even though I could block, there's no real guarantee that my creature's going to survive. My opponent could have Silence the Believers, if nothing else. And we can pump our creature up to... We can pump it up to 4. So I'm going to offer my opponent that trade. And I think it's a trade he's not going to be willing to accept. He's going to just want his creature as a 2/4 Vigilance creature. So here's the trade. I hope that you take it, and you don't. Smart man. Smart move. Eagle of the Watch, however. And we're just going to try and race you. So we both have Vigilance creatures. However, mine has Evasion, and you can't block it. And if we can get around our Johnny's Presence this turn without having to use it, we can strive with it. Which is very, very good. Deadbringer Lampad's kind of troublesome card, although not really that bad. Mortal Obstinacy takes care of that. So here he's going to swing for 4. We're just going to take it. No reason whatsoever to block the Lucricata. We do have Swiftclaw. Oh, interesting. I'm actually curious to see if I do swing with the Bloodcrazed Hoplite. I'm curious as to whether my opponent is going to just block Deadbringer Lampad to Bloodcrazed Hoplite, which could be the case. He could do that, and then I'd still get in for 3. However, I don't play a Risco Swiftclaw. I think that's probably a worse line of play. I think the better line of play is just swinging with the Eagle for 3, connecting, getting rid of Deadbringer Lampad, keeping my creatures back, and then also having the ability to hold something back for a attack that he has, because here he attacks for 2, and that's not really as profitable. My opponent attacks with Bloodcrazed Hoplite, however, I can still just block it, and if my opponent has a pump spell, I let the pump spell resolve, so he takes away a +1/+1, and then I, Johnny's Presence, take away his +1/+1, and also give Indestructible, which pretty much supersedes his +1s anyway. But now that you have heard my entire line of thought here, We just swing, get rid of the lampad. Or lampads, plural. So, Mortal Obstinacy did prove to be very relevant. I didn't know how relevant it would be for the earlier turns, but getting rid of the lampad's pretty nice. This card's really powerful. As a 5-drop, it's really sweet. It's not really that great against me, though. Yeah, we're going to blow that up. I'm absolutely going to do that. And I think we just keep the Johnny's Presence open. Even though we don't have the ability to strive it. Not swinging with the Blood Christ Hoplite also may give my opponent the false impression that I don't have a pump spell, so I can't profitably attack with the Hoplite. And I actually think that I'm okay with this right here. So let's see what my opponent does first. Okay, so he's willing to trade creatures. He doesn't put a lot of value in that Bloodcrazed Hoplite, at least right now. He could be just passing the priority to me to see whether I'm going to do something, and then maybe he'll like silence the believers or something like that. So I think I'm actually just going to accept the trade here and just take that. And then see what he does on his following turn. Nothing. Wow. Okay. Oh, dictate. Huh. How convenient. However, I think I attack with Eagle first, play Oresco Swiftclaw, and keep Johnny's Presence open. I want to get another creature on the board. He could have a hand entirely full of like Feast of Dreams or things that don't really hit my creatures. Nightmare Shen could be a possibility here too. And it's very, very, very possible that he could just Nightmare Shen right now. However, he doesn't. Attack. Yeah, I'll take. Go to 7. And what I would really love right now is one source of white. No. Okay, so he missed a land drop. What I think I'd do here... it really still doesn't seem profitable to swing with the Oresco Swiftclaw, because if he does still have Silence the Believers for Eagle of Watch... Well, no, I guess he does only get rid of one of these creatures. And I do still swing for 4. Well, you know what? Let's play a little bit more bold here. Let's see what you do, because I am actually pretty okay with the notion of trading with a... Actually, let's do this. Let's a Johnny's Presence. And keep Deicide open. So we'll do that. And see what you have here. Because if you have removal for Oresco Swiftclaws, it's essentially wasted. And if he has something to protect Ravenous Lucarcata, again, it's essentially wasted. Yes. Wasted. So we did hit him for... We did hit him for 2. And now I'm actually just kind of hoping that he puts himself in the position where he taps out like 6 for the 5/5, because we can just get rid of the 5/5 immediately. Or maybe he even just maybe he plays another Lampad. Or Lampads. Excuse me. I keep on saying Lampad. I keep on saying it just singular. I think either way, I think if he plays any enchantment creature at this point, unless it's the one that gives +1/+1, I think we're okay. I mean, even to a certain extent, we could still just use our Eagle of the Watch as a blocker, but I think keeping the Deicide open is a little bit more it's a little bit more cautious. It's a more cautious play that still we're being a little bit more ballsy with. And maybe he's just hitting land drops. Maybe he's just sitting on a handful of 6-drops and only 5 lands. His Lucarcata also does not monsters until he reaches 7 mana sources, so not really worried about that card being a 5 power yet. Could our opponent give us the wombo, so to say, with multiple pump spells? Maybe? I don't know. Colossal Heroics, however, is really sweet. I think my opponent's just trying to decide what he's going to do here. So swing 2. No, there's no value in me blocking that yet. Go to 5. And what is it? Another Lucarcata. Oof. So we can swing for 4. However, we can just get rid of one of them and still swing for 4. However, if he has a pump spell at this point, we're a little bit shafted. Is there anything in 1 green that I have to worry about? No. No, there's not. So I get in for 4 here. And then if I have a pump spell for Eagle, assuming that it doesn't get removed, I can still have it stick around. I could make the line of play of just trading in the Eagle the following turn for the Lucarcata as a extremely safe play, just because my Bloodcrazed Hoplite, like my Bloodcrazed Hoplite is going to be a 4/3, and chances are, if my opponent does play a creature, it's probably going to be one that is an enchantment creature, or at least I would like to forecast that. I would like to think that it is. Oh, and I still have my Rescue Swiftclaw. I don't know what I was so worried about. So yeah, I think right here I just do take the block. I do think I block this creature. Oh, okay. I think that's just fine. Not sure how, well, no, that's still not just fine. That's still quite annoying. However, we do have 2 hoplites, which is kind of funny. Hoplites. And we just threaten our opponent with dudes on dudes. So we have enough ways to get in there and connect. If my opponent only plays 1 creature, he loses. However, he's going to swing with a Lucarcata, just because he knows he can. What I can do here is I can just double block. But I think a more acceptable line of play is to block with just 1 Bloodcrazed Hoplite. Just because if he does follow it up with another creature and I double blocked, and maybe he had a pump spell or something like that, maybe it's a little bit more awkward for me. Oh, and here we swing all in. My opponent has a removal spell. No. Nope, nope, nope. Still slow play. I'm going to slow play it. Ah, removal? Ah, there it is. Alright, so I did make the right choice. Ah, sneaky, sneaky. 4. Crone Mastiff. And honestly, here, I can just block Hoplite to Lucre Ricotta and still have Swiftclaw, if he, assuming he doesn't have a creature. Is this still game 1? I don't even remember. No, this is game 2. That's what happens when you play these lengthy games. At least he played that Silence the Believers for 4 and not for 7. Huh. Well, let's make the line of play where we do that. If he has removal, like maybe I don't really think there's a slow playing. Well, yeah, I guess we could slow play it where we wait until my opponent has a way to. I guess now he has the 3-drop where he can win. I don't know. Colossal Heroics still gets him there. We could have waited until our turn. Oh, removal. Oh, jeez. So he just uses it as a form of removal. Okay. Alright, well, let's see what he does next turn. I definitely did not have him on Citizen Tactics. We'll actually just F6 our way out of this one right here. Oh, well, you know what? Actually, I suppose had I taken the time, had I not rushed that, I wouldn't have had to worry about Citizen Tactics. Why? Because I tap his creature before it has the ability to tap. So that was a fault on my end that I will not make again. Because if I would have just waited during his turn, then I tap down the Lucre. Well, no, I mean, because even still, I would have been inclined to tap the Lucre Ricotta during his combat phase. So let's see. Do you have a pump? Nope. 3, 4. Ah, that is rough. Okay. Plains. Unfortunately, we lose this one. Alright, so game 3. Let's hope and pray we can make our way to a nice win here at the end of this. I think we're just fine with the choices that we've made. We did unfortunately see a few too many lands. However, the initial assumption that I had misplayed with that Citizen Tactics would prove to be would have proved to have panned out. I would assume the exact same way, given my opponent would have been conducting his turn where he would have attacked. I would have attempted to tap it, and he would have Citizen Tactics and tapped down my creature. But I would have done that pre-combat, so his creature still doesn't have the ability to attack. And then I could potentially get in for 2, but I top deck a land, so I have to keep the Crone Mastiff. Untapped to be able to tap down his his guy on his following turn. He plays Thunderhoof, then I don't know. I mean, I guess I was kind of doomed to fail at that point in time. I don't know. I could have played that a little bit better. I could have played a little bit slower, but it is what it is. You learn from your mistakes. Play first, absolutely. And no white. Ugh. I don't think there's a reason not to keep this, though. I mean, we still have Feast of Dreams and Blood Crazed Hoplite. I think I'm okay with this. So no, we're not going to mulligan this. He keeps his hand as well. And let's see where this hand gets us. If we can just draw one white, I think we'll be okay. And another Blood Crazed Hoplite. So we have 2 drops galore. And if our opponent plays Blood Crazed Hoplite, we can go and easily just kind of trade with it, or at least offer him the trade. And he passes the turn. We have another swamp. Not what I wanted to see happen. So first we attack, revealing as little information as possible until we are actually going to make our play. And that play being Blood Crazed Hoplite. What I hope my opponent plays right here is the 3-drop 2/3 Constellation creature in green. And we got it. Sweet. Stonewise. Alright, at least we have an answer to that guy. And we get in there for a nice whopping 4. However, we miss a land drop and we are on the brink of failure here, I would have to say. I don't know. I don't think there were... I mean, there is a reason to mulligan that hand away. I don't think that... Even on my best day, I would mulligan that away. I would just try to take the more ballsy approach. I've used ballsy way too much in this video. I've said that way too much. Another swamp. Alright, well, here's the trade. Trade your 2 for my 2. Or none for none. If I can hit white... I don't think he... maybe he does take the trade with both of them. If he does... Oh, wow, he really does not. He's worried about being blown out, I would say. Maybe not. He's willing to take his chances. And in this case, he's really going to get it. I can't afford to let my opponent play a 6-drop creature on his following turn if he plays a land here, in which he does. I can't afford to let him do that. Like, that could have been a 5/5. I mean, even though a 3/4 with Heroic is bad, that could have been even worse. Potentially. And at least I get rid of the Blood Crazed Hoplite as well. Alright, so we'll F6 out of here. White? Please? No Aspect of Gorgon. Jeez. What could our Blood Crazed Hoplite have been? Could have been a 3/4... Could have been 3/2... 4/5? 4/5 creature? Ugh. Then again, I couldn't have anticipated that. Not sure what he has right here. I mean, even if we lose this one, we still have 2 more rounds to redeem ourselves. However, it's still a really rough start to lose to something like this, where we we're taking 7. All right, well, at least he's kind of evening the playing field here. If we can hit a white source, we could play Stonemore's Fortifier and have a way to block down that creature. Or we just play the Grim Guardian. We play Grim Guardian, and then we have Aspect of Gorgon to keep our opponent from profitably swinging with it, at least for now, because it would be a 7 toughness creature. My opponent could have Feast of Dreams and just absolutely destroy my creature right here, but I don't accept the trade. or well, not necessarily the trade. I don't accept the fact of him getting rid of my creature right now. I just let him do that. The card comes down, and we get another swamp, and we're bricking them. So very unfortunate way to be hitting all these swamps. Maybe had I not decided in that one swamp, one of these swamps that I had here would have been a plains, but who's to know which swamp was which? Feast of Dreams, and if it's Feast of Dreams, we just lose. Yeah, it is, and we inevitably don't have a real good way around that. So unfortunately, we start our round 1 to a defeat, to a 1-2 defeat, which is sad. We're in Scrub Town right now, but that's okay. We'll redeem ourselves in the following rounds. And I invite you guys to join us for the following rounds and see where we can make some better plays and hopefully learn from our mistakes that we made in round 1.